Hello, my explorer friends. I'm really missing you guys, and I hope that you're happy and having fun staying home and doing all kinds of exciting things with your mom and dad and maybe your brothers and sisters, but maybe you're a little bored or a little lonely or you have a problem. And so I wanted to tell you about the problem I had this week and how I fixed it, because I had a big problem this week. You know, I am a STEAM teacher, right? So I teach S for science, T for technology, E for engineering, A for arts, and M for mathematics. Now, we've done a really good job of learning some things about science, S for science. Every time you watch these videos, you are using technology, the T. We figured out how to do some arts projects with the things that you have at home, even though we don't have all the fun things I have in my classroom. And we figured out how to do some math, M. But there's this big E in the middle for engineering. And I was having a hard time figuring out how to teach engineering through a screen. So you know what I did to solve that problem? I called a friend. If you are maybe feeling a little lonely or a little bored, you can call a friend too. And I guarantee you, you will feel better. So I called a friend who is very smart. And after I started doing the STEAM program at our school, she started a STEM program at her school, which is just STEAM without the A. But, you know, I love art, so mine had to be STEAM. Anyway, I said, how am I going to teach engineering through a screen? And you know what she said to me? She said, Courtney, you are forgetting that engineering is all about solving problems. Here I am with a problem. So I said, well, that's great. She said, you can just tell your kids what it is you want them to do and let them be the engineers that figure out how to solve the problem. Amazing! Problem solved, and all I had to do was call a friend. So, we are going to do some engineering today, and if you are having a problem with your engineering, you can call a friend. You can even do your STEAM homework on the phone with a friend. How cool would that be? Pretty good idea, right? My friends are smart. Your friends are smart too. Try calling them, you'll see. All right, let's get into this. Hey, explorer friends. So, today we are going to talk about architecture, we are going to practice being engineers. We're going to solve problems and figure out how to put things together and take things apart just like engineers. We're going to try to build some structures that have balance, stability. In order to give them balance and stability, we are really going to need a strong foundation. Some of the things we're going to build are going to be a tower and a bridge. A tower, we're going to try to make as tall as we can vertically. We're going to give it height. So A vertical line just goes up and down. Points from the ceiling to the floor. That's a vertical line. We're going to make bridges, and we're going to try to make them as long as we can, horizontally. Horizontal lines just go back and forth, side to side. And if we put vertical lines and horizontal lines together, they are perpendicular. Can you say that long word with me? Perpendicular. That's just lines that cross like this. I want to show you your lungs. Your lungs are what we use to breathe. They're in here. Take a deep breath with me. In and out. Does that feel good? When you breathe, you're using your respiratory system. We've looked at pieces of our muscular system, that's your muscles, and your skeletal system, which is your bones. And your lungs are part of your respiratory system. They help you breathe in and out. And if you take a really deep breath in, you will be able to feel your lungs. Breathe in. And they fill up with air. Breathe out. And the air goes out. This is what your lungs look like. This is what the inside of your lungs looks like. You can see in between your lungs is your heart. We talked about your heart, right? That's part of your circulatory system. And the animal I want to talk to you today about is another endangered species called the ring-tailed lemur. Check him out. Isn't he cute? Little guy. Guess why he's called a ring-tailed lemur? Because he has rings on his tail. And he lives in Madagascar in the rainforests. And we talked about how the rainforest, people are cutting down the trees. Those poor little animals are getting endangered. Poor little animals. I can't wait to tell you about the ring-tailed lemur because some of my explorer friends are going to find him super funny. Have you watched Madagascar? Have you seen King Julian? I like to move it, move it. I like to move it, move it. I like to move it, move it. You like to move it! Yeah, same guy. Ring-tailed lemur. You're gonna love him. All right, friends. Let's have some fun. Hello, Toodle Noodles. Are you ready to STEAM with me? So, you probably already know if you're one of my STEAM students, but STEAM stands for S for science, T for technology, E for engineering, A for arts, and M for math. Now, we have done a really good job so far of doing some science together. We use technology every time you watch these videos. I'm learning so much new technology right now just to do these videos for you. Engineering, we'll come back to that one. Arts, we've figured out some really fun projects. Even though you guys don't have all the same materials at home, we've been doing some fun art, right? And math, that one's easy. We've been doing lots of counting and adding, maybe even some subtracting. But this E for engineering was giving me some trouble. I was thinking, how can I teach engineering through a screen? I mean, seriously. So, then I thought about it, and I called a friend, and I realized engineering is just all about solving problems. Engineering is just creating a system to solve a problem. So, today, we are going to do some engineering together. We are going to do some architecture together, which is just designing a structure. And then we are going to do some construction, which is building that structure. Are you ready? It's going to be fun. Are you ready to build with me? Maybe you have some Legos. Maybe you have some blocks. But I did not have those things in my house, so I had to be an engineer and solve that problem. Do you know what I did? I got some cups, just regular plain old paper cups. Let's see how many I have. This is math, right? I have 1 cup, 2 cups, 3 cups, 4 cups, 5 cups, 6 cups, 7 cups, 8 cups, 9 cups, 10 cups, 11 cups, 12 cups. Let me see there. Now you can see my 12 cups. I lined them up in 2 sets of 6. So I have 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12 cups. And I got a paper plate. Did you know you can build with paper plates? Engineers solve problems. And I got this handy dandy measurement tool, which I am going to use for a couple things today. You'll see. So, first, engineering. Solve the problem, right? I want you to solve the problem in your house of what things you can build with. Architecture. I'm going to design my structure. Now, some things I want to think about when I'm designing my structure are balance. Is it going to fall over? Try this with me, okay? You stand up on 2 feet, okay? When you're standing on 2 feet, especially if you spread them out wide, you have great balance. What about if you stand up as tall as you can on your tippy toes? Try it. It's much harder to balance. You need stability. You need a foundation. So the wider your foundation, the more stability and balance your structure will have. And then something else you might want to think about if you're an architect is, how does my structure look? Now, I'm going to be honest with you guys. My paper cups and paper plate are probably not going to make the most beautiful building you ever did see. But once you've figured everything else out, you might want to decorate it, or you might want to just use bright, pretty materials. Like maybe you have magnetiles. Magnetiles are gorgeous because of all the bright colors, right? So maybe you want your structure not just to be balanced and stable, maybe you want it to be beautiful. Then we're going to build it. We're going to be construction workers. Are you ready? The first thing we are going to build is a bridge. Now, if I put this on top of all those cups, it's not going to work very well. But if I move half the cups back and balance it just on these 6 cups, I've built a bridge. Now what about if my bridge has to go over some water. What if I have some water my bridge has to go over? Let's pretend that this blue piece of paper is our water. Let's see how many cups I have to take out from underneath to fit my water under it. Let's see. 1, 2, 3. Is it still gonna balance? 4. Oh, please, please, still balance, please. Oh, I don't think that one wants to go. All right. So how many cups do I have under there still? 1, 2, 3. Now, if this was perfectly, there we go. You should be able to balance a bridge with just 2 bases. So now I have 2 bases. I have my bridge and I have my water underneath. Okay? The next thing, now a bridge is horizontal. That means it goes back and forth. Let's make our arms horizontal. Put your arms out like this. That is horizontal. Try to get them so they are perfectly even with the floor. It doesn't really look like it on the camera because of the angle, but my arms are perfectly horizontal. They're even with the floor. The floor and the ceiling go in horizontal directions. Now we are going to try to build vertically. That's just up and down. Put your arms up vertically. Straight up. That's vertical. Okay? We're going to try to build as tall as we can. Let's see. If I put the cups like this, one just goes right inside the other. That's not going to get very tall, is it? I'm going to try to make my structure as tall as I can. Will you help me count? I have 1 cup, 2 cups, 3 cups. It's not very stable, is it? I'm trying to balance it. 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh! My tower fell down, but that's okay because when we're building, we keep trying new things and just building it again, right? Sometimes your blocks fall down. You can just try again. Let's try one more time and see if I can get taller than 4 cups. 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh no! Now, if you were really thinking like an engineer, you might think, what if I tape those cups together? What if I try to make it more stable? I don't know. What kinds of things could we do to make our tower more stable, to give it more stability? Now, I have some fun tack. Maybe you have some tape. Maybe you have some glue. Maybe you just have more stable blocks. Or maybe your blocks have magnets in them that will help it stay together. But I don't have magnets. Well, I do, but I want to try it with the cups. Let's see. If I stick, nope, still not going to work. But you are engineers, so you can think of some things that will work for you, right? It's all about trying things and seeing what works. So I want you to try to make the tallest tower you can. I want you to try to make the longest bridge you can. See? Height is how tall something is, and length is how long something is. I want you to see the longest bridge you can make and the tallest tower you can make. Maybe you can have a grown-up help you measure it. the last thing we are going to build, that's why I have this handy dandy paper plate, is a platform. Now, we're going to see a platform. It's just a table. Has some legs, hold something up. We're going to try to see the least amount of cups we can use to build this platform. 1, right? You can count to 1. Okay. So we can build a platform with 1 cup, but I want to see how many cups I can use to support this platform. So let's see. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I got 9 cups under there, guys. See my platform I built with 9 bases? It's very stable. That means it has a really good foundation. The foundation is just whatever you use to support your structure. Pretty cool, right? All right, so the last thing I want to talk about is perpendicular. So we learned about horizontal, and we learned about vertical. This is perpendicular. It's where they go in directions that are at a right angle, like this, right? So these things are perpendicular. This goes this way, side to side, horizontal, and this is vertical. Even if I turn it this way and make this one vertical and this one side to side, they are still perpendicular, right? So most of the time, when you're building your bridge, you want your angles to be perpendicular. Because, watch this. If I try to make this one 2 cups tall, and this one 1 cup tall, do you think that's going to work? Maybe. We might get a ramp for a while, but it's not as stable or balanced, right? So I want you to think about drawing some lines that are horizontal, some lines that are vertical, and some lines that are perpendicular. I know you can do it. That's your homework. Okay. Okay, my friends. Funny story. You know how I said we were all learning new technology right now? That's right. T for technology. Look at that T. Do you notice something about it? It has a vertical line and a horizontal line, and they're perpendicular. Oh, look at that. Okay, so speaking of technology, my camera was flipped, and all of the words through all of the work I've done today were backwards. Oh my goodness, no! So, we are going to start all over and try this again. We're going to put a sun at the top of our paper. Oh, Mr. Sun, sun, Mr. Golden Sun, please shine down on me. That's how we know this is the top of our paper. Then, we're going to put some grass at the bottom of our paper for the ground. Okay, that's how we know that this is the bottom. And the ground goes horizontally. Horizontal. Which means it just goes side to side. Then, any of the lines that go up and down, which mean they are pointing from the sky to the ground, those lines are vertical. Vertical. Okay? Now, if you take a line that is horizontal and you cross it with a line that is vertical, you get lines that are perpendicular. How's that for a nice long word? I know my S.T.E.A.M friends love long words. Can you say it with me? Perpendicular? Huh? Perpendicular? That is a nice long word. Now, the next thing we did was take some vertical lines and some horizontal lines. And if they are the same length, do you know what shape that makes? I bet you do. It makes a square. Square. Look at that. If you take long horizontal lines that are the same length as each other, and you take shorter vertical lines that are the same length, what shape does that make? Can you guess? That makes a rectangle. Now here is what I would like you to do. You don't just have to use lines on your paper. You can use tape. You can use tape to make my horizontal lines. And I can use straws to make my vertical lines. Move them around. See what kind of art you can make using horizontal lines and vertical lines. I'll even give you a peek since I did it already. You might want to try playing with this. The explorers and I are going to measure our lines, and we are going to make rectangles and squares. Watch this neat trick. If I take two rectangles and two squares and put them together, what does it make? Oh, a rectangle! Shh, don't tell the explorers I told you, okay? Okay, now I'm gonna re-record their video. Don't tell them what their homework is. All right, I love you guys, and I hope you have fun playing with horizontal lines and vertical lines to make art of your own. I can't wait to see what you create. I love you. Thanks for crafting with me. Oh no! Explorers! Don't peek! We gotta do your homework again, because I recorded it with the camera flipped, and everything was backwards! Oh no! words, and I know some of you guys are already learning how to read, so we can't have our video with your words backwards. No! So the first thing I am going to show you is that, remember the water we used under our bridge before? Well, it's just a piece of paper. And a piece of paper is just a rectangle made of 2 vertical sides and 2 horizontal sides. Now, watch what I can do. If I take this piece of paper and I fold it to make this part look like a triangle. Can you see this? Now, this part here goodness gracious, makes a triangle. Oh, this camera. Okay, see? That's why I flipped it in the first place, because it's so weird to move in the opposite direction. All of this technology is making me crazy. Oh my goodness. But I love you, so I am learning it for you. Okay, so now, we cross this part off. You can see my triangle, right? If I open that up, I have, let's see, I'll fold it down on this line. Okay, maybe you can do this at home. Fold it on that line so that that part disappears. I have made myself a square. Look. These 2 triangles when I put them together make a square. Now watch this. This is my square, right? Let's just mark that space up so you can see the space of your square. I want it to be really clear that that's my square. But when I open this other rectangle up, I have a rectangle over here with 2 vertical sides, 2 horizontal sides. This is my rectangle. And when I put it all together, I'm back with a rectangle. I think playing with shapes is super fun. Look, it's math and art together. That's why I love graph paper. Now, if you have graph paper, you can just count the squares. But if you don't have graph paper, we can use subtraction and a ruler. So, I don't know if you can see the numbers on here. Let me make them brighter for you. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Now, I want my sides to be 2 inches. But I don't want to start all the way over here at 0. I want to start at 1. So, how can I figure out how to make my side 2 inches if I start at 1? I'll show you. I can subtract 1 from 3, and I will have 1 inch, 2 inches. I now have a 2-inch line. I want to make 2 vertical lines that are the same size. But this thing's kind of clunky, and moving it around might be a little tricky. So let's see if we can figure out another way to do that. Now, because I have graph paper, I can count the number of squares. See the little squares down here? Each one of these little squares. I can count those squares and figure out how long this side is. So I'm going to do that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Each one of my sides is going to be 10 squares. So I want to make 2 vertical lines coming up from the corners that are 10 squares. Ready? Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Over here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Ready? I'm going to draw my lines. 1 vertical line that's 10 squares, and another vertical line that's 10 squares. Because this was 10 squares, or 2 inches. That means that this, just because this is a square, is going to be 10 squares or 2 inches. Do you trust me, or should we count them? Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Now, if you really want to have fun with this, you can count all the squares in the middle and figure out that 10 times 10, there's 100 little squares inside this one big square. Look at that. So cool. Holy moly. Now, if you don't have graph paper, that's okay. You can just move your ruler around, or you can take something that you already know the sides of and make a square that way. Okay? Now, if I already know that this handy dandy little piece of paper is this long, I can just take it, make one side, move it, make another side, move it to make another side, and move it this way. As long as you keep moving it perpendicularly, you'll get a square. Okay, now watch this fun trick. I'm going to move this down, and I'm going to make another line that is horizontal, and that is 2 inches. Right? 3 minus 1 is 2. Okay. There we go. I move from the 1 to the 3, and I have 1 inch, 2 inches. Now, we're really got to think about this, okay? I have this line that is 2 inches. I want to make the vertical lines half that length. So this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I cut it in half. We know 5 plus 5 is 10. So each side is going to be how many little squares? 5, right? Because 5 plus 5 is 10. So I'm going to make this side 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 squares. And look, on my ruler, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 squares is not 2 inches, but 1 inch. See, this is 2 inches, and that is halfway, and that is 1 inch. So I'm going to go ahead and draw my vertical lines that are 5 squares. And I'm going to connect those with another horizontal line that is 10 squares. And what did I make? I made a rectangle. But this rectangle is special because this rectangle is exactly half of a square. So if I made another another horizontal line right in the middle of that square, I made two rectangles that I can put together to make a square. And I will prove it to you that if you put two squares together, you will always get a rectangle. So let's trace that shape and see what we get. Ready? This is one square plus another square. What shape did we make, guys? We made a rectangle. And if we split that rectangle right down the middle, we have 1, 2 squares. Pretty cool, right? So your homework is to draw me a square that has 2 vertical sides that are the same length and 2 horizontal sides that are the same length. And if they are perpendicular, you will end up with a square. And then I want you to draw me a rectangle that has 2 horizontal lines that are the same length as each other, but 2 vertical lines that are a different shape, different length than those horizontal lines. And if you put those together so that they are perpendicular, you get a rectangle. If your lines aren't perpendicular, you're going to end up with something like this. That's a whole other kind of shape. We are not drawing that shape today. We are going to make a square and a rectangle using horizontal lines and vertical lines that are perpendicular. Think you can do it? I know you can do it. If you need to, you just find something that's a square, trace it, put 2 together, make a rectangle. Bet you didn't even believe me. Look at that. Take these 2 triangles and put them together, and you get a square. Add another rectangle. The whole thing is a rectangle. Oh my goodness. Pretty cool. Don't forget, a T is 2 perpendicular lines, a long vertical one, and a short horizontal one. And watch this. If you really want to cheat, on your homework, don't cheat on your homework. You can make an L. That is 1 long vertical line and 1 short horizontal line. Oh, watch this. Oh my goodness. Just make another vertical line that's the same length as this side of your L, and another horizontal line at the top that's the same length as the bottom of your L, and you already have a rectangle. Look at that. Easy peasy. I know you guys have got this. I love you, and thanks for doing some engineering and some math and some architecture with me today. And I will do our wrap up on the board and see you next time. Love you. All right, explorers. I'm tired. Did a lot of work today. We were engineers. And we were architects. Architecture. And we were designers. And we were construction workers. And we built a tower and a bridge. And we made our towers super high, or we tried to. Hopefully your tower was higher than my tower. And we made bridges, and our towers were vertical, up and down. And our bridges were horizontal. We tried to make them super long, right? Side to side, horizontal. And when we put those vertical and horizontal lines together, we got lines that were perpendicular. We tried to build towers that had height. We tried to give all of our structures balance and stability by giving them a good foundation. We talked about your lungs, which are inside your chest and part of your respiratory system. That's the wrong one. Respiratory system. Your lungs are just like two balloons inside your chest. Breathe in and fill them up. Breathe out. This is what it looks like inside your lungs. And right between your lungs, there's your heart. I promised you that I was going to tell you more about my friend, the ring-tailed lemur. See the rings on his tail? Yeah. He uses that tail, first of all, for balance. His tail is longer than his whole body. He uses it for balance. Remember we talked about balance with our structures. If it's not balanced, it falls down. If he's not balanced, he falls down. But do you know what else he does with that tail? My explorers, you are going to think this is so funny. Lemurs, when they don't like each other, they have stink fights. Just the boys. I don't know why. They have stink fights. They rub their tails on their bottoms to get them extra stinky. And then they wave them at the other boy lemurs that they don't like. I couldn't even make this up. It's serious. It's called a stink fight. Psh. Silly lemurs. They live in Madagascar in the rainforests. And they're endangered species because I told you people keep cutting down those trees. Stop cutting down those trees in the rainforest. Where is my lemur gonna live? Anyway, since we were designers today, I thought we could read a book about design. That's how we're going to go out today, on a book about design. And it's called A Book About Design. Complicated Doesn't Make It Good, by Mark Gaunier. This is cute, you guys. He dedicated the book to his favorite color, blue. What's your favorite color? Design is all about the perception of size, shape, and color. This is a chapter book. Yeah, some of my explorers love chapter books. All or Nothing is the title of chapter 1. Take the two shapes on the right. They relate to each other in every way. What are those shapes? Circles, right? What color are they? Red? Purple? No. Yellow? No. Green? I know my colors. I'm just teasing you. You know I like to trick you. Change the size of one, in this case, increase it, and you lessen the impact of the other, right? Because your eye is drawn to the bigger shape. Bet you never thought about that when you were making your pictures. Unless you do something to draw attention to it again. You see? Just by putting a hole in that little circle, it makes you notice it. And so on. And so on. And so on. It's all or nothing. You can't change one piece without affecting how you see the other pieces. Chapter 2, the box. Take a look at the, what shape is that? Oh, a square. You guys are going to make me one of those for your homework. Imagine drawing two straight lines that intersect only once inside the square. Intersect just means connect. Think about what it would look like. Take your time. I'll wait. Did your lines look something like this? I bet after all the work we did today with vertical and horizontal and perpendicular lines, that your lines might have looked something like this. Or this. Ooh. If I move it like that, those are still perpendicular. Straight lines can indicate strength and structure. Diagonal lines can indicate speed and movement. Chapter 3, 139. 139 is a ratio. It can also be a strong graphic tool. The biggest square is about 3 times as big as the second largest square, which is about 3 times as big as the smallest square. This makes the largest square the most important piece on the page. It's the one your eye goes to, right? Apply this idea to a whole page and it might look something like this. And so on. And so on. Chapter 4. Can you see me now? Can you see me now? Let's see. What is contrast? I'm thinking of a number between 1 and 10. Can you tell me what it is? No? How about now? What number is that? It's a 3. And we can really see that 3 because there's so much contrast between the black page and the white 3. That's contrast. Chapter 5, letters are shapes too. You see what letter is in there? Can you see it? What letter does that look like to you? You see the X? The letter A. A is for angles. Can you see the A? The letter H is for horizontal. Look at that horizontal line. I see 2 vertical lines too. The letter T, we talked about how a T is a vertical line and a horizontal line. T is for 3, as in 139. The letter S. S is for curves. Okay, guys, the word curves starts with C. Then he says, I know, C should be for curves, but I like how S looks better. Can you see the S in there? It does look kind of cool. Right, chapter 6, color schmuller. These are warm colors. These are cool colors. Warm colors are aggressive and advance in your face. Cool colors are passive and retreat. So if you want to make your background blue, your colors will pop. Your warm colors will pop. Chapter 7. Do I look fat on this side? Ooh, this chapter is all about balance, but not the kind of balance like when we made our towers. This is about balance in your art. The green square gets all the attention because it's the only piece there. until it's balanced with an equally strong presence. Now you look at both squares, right? Now it isn't balanced. Now it is. Now it isn't, right? Because your eye is drawn right here. I bet you looked here first. I bet you looked there first. Isn't. Is. This could take a while. Why don't you go on while I catch up? Chapter 8. Hey, look at me. What do you see here? Did you see the vertical line and the horizontal line? Do you see how they're perpendicular? How many squares does it make? 1, 2, 3, 4. The space between objects can tell you what's important and what's not. Which one do you think that the author and the illustrator thinks is important? One he set apart, right? The shape of an object can tell you what's important too. Your eye goes right to that circle, doesn't it? I know. So can the color. I wouldn't use all three at once if I were you. Chapter 9. Complicated doesn't make it good. Nice and simple. Just the way I like it. Still simple. I'm still happy. Uh-oh. I don't know about that. Just because something is complicated doesn't mean it's good. Chapter 10, Putting It Together. 139, about. Cool colors retreat. The letter A. Remember, A was for angles. Warm colors advance. So do you see how he has the background with the cool colors? And this warm colored rocket pops right out at you. Balance. Changing one thing affects how you see everything. You see what he changed? Pretty cool, right? And so on. Too busy. Design is all about the perception of size, shape, and color. The end. Thanks for being engineers with me today, explorers. I had lots of fun. You guys wore me out. Oh my goodness, we did so much work today being engineers and architects and designers and construction workers. Whew! But I had fun with you guys and I love you and I will see you soon.